Hi, this is weird. I've never done this before, but you know what? I'm gonna do it today because that's what YouTubers do when they get things wrong in videos, apparently. And the thing that I did wrong is I have something stuck in my teeth throughout this entire video. Like an actual blueberry. It's just hanging out there in my teeth for the whole world to see. And I was going to refilm this video, but then I thought it sounds really insincere when you do things a second time, and I just didn't want to do it. And then the other option I had is to just not say anything about it and then just leave the comments to come and go, she has something stuck in her teeth, that's disgusting, why did she film with knowing that she has something stuck in her teeth? So I didn't want to do that either. So that's why I'm here and talking to you guys and letting you guys know that I'm well aware that I have something stuck in my teeth throughout this entire video. Despite the fact that I have a viewfinder on my camera, despite the fact that I have several mirrors in my room, I still have something stuck in my teeth. So I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if it's really distracting, and I promise it won't happen again, but there we go. Sorry, hope you like it, bye. Hi guys, my name's Chloe, otherwise known as Princess Aspian, and welcome to my channel. So there are a lot of different traits to autism. There are a lot of different traits and checkpoints and marks and checklists and symptoms. In fact, if you Google autism symptoms, there are instantly 135 million results that pop up. These 135 million different results will give you lists and traits and symptoms that are miles long about all these different traits that make you autistic or not autistic. People have this misconception that every single autistic person have to have every single one of these traits that are on these checklists, that you're not autistic if you haven't got every single one of these checkpoints, that unless you meet every single stereotype of autism ever created, you can't be autistic, it doesn't happen, you're not autistic, you're a fake autistic. Which, at the end of the day, is entirely false and entirely untrue, because it's impossible to have every single one of these 135 million different traits. No one has that many characteristics or personality traits. You just don't. Autism isn't at all defined by the amount of checkpoints that you actually have. It's just a good indicator to get you some extra help to kind of go, oh, well, maybe there's a chance. So, for today's video, I thought it would be a really interesting idea to have a look at these stereotypes, to have a look at these different checkpoints and see which one of these I do and don't have. I don't know, I think it would just be interesting because obviously I was professionally diagnosed. I never looked at the checkpoints to see, oh, yep. I never ticked myself off because I had already been ticked off, I guess, yeah? So I thought it would be interesting to have a look at these different lists and checkpoints and personality traits that deem someone autistic and see which one of these I don't have. Because these traits are just that, a stereotype, a not necessarily completely true thing. That isn't to say that if you're autistic and have these and you're like a typical stereotypical autistic, like but like it's not to say that if you don't have them then like you're not autistic, you know? These stereotypes and traits and checklists are just that, they're just stereotypes and checklists and traits. So I'm just going to Google autism symptoms adults. Okay, there we go. First of all, the first thing I'm noticing through scrolling through these lists are that this video idea is not turning out how I expected, because most of the things that they talk about I'm like, yep, which is not the idea of this video. okay, so I found one. All right, so the first one that I have found, which is not a characteristic of myself, is flat, expressionless, or a monotone voice. I mean, if you guys watch my videos, you know that this couldn't be further from the truth. I've always had quite a pitchy, like wavering tone of speech, like very not monotone. I get excited easily, and I think my voice shows my excitement. I don't think I have a very monotone voice. However, the one that comes right next to that is also speaking too loudly and having no control of volume. I feel attacked. Okay, next one is speaking in an unusually formal tone. This is a hard one. Maybe, but also maybe not. Not formal, not informal, just sobs. However, I feel like if I'm talking to someone about something like important, then maybe. I was always told that I sounded a lot older, not because of my voice, but because of the way that I spoke and my mannerisms when I spoke. I was always told that I sounded a lot more mature and that I composed myself a lot more mature than I actually am. And that wasn't because I was like, ooh, I'm trying to be mature. That's because I mimic what I sound like and what I say and stuff after other people, because I was selectively mute for so much of my life. When I did start talking, when I did start kind of interacting with other people, the way that I interacted and the way that I learned how to speak was by watching movies and watching my parents and watching other people speak and copying their mannerisms. So I guess sometimes it sounds a little bit formal, but overall I'd say not. A lot of these checklists are hard. They're not like easy, fun little happy checklists. They're all like ones from doctors things and psychologist things, and there's just too many big words that I just don't really care about right now, you know?
6 hours later.
Okay, so I found a couple of checklists, but all it's doing is reaffirming the fact that I am definitely autistic. I went into this video thinking this was going to be such a brilliant idea. I was like, man, this is great. People are gonna love this. I'm gonna show so much diversity about autism, but all this is doing is just reaffirming that I am definitely, in fact, autistic.
1 hour later. Three hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Okay, so I literally had to turn my camera off for a second because I had to focus on trying to find some things because I genuinely could not find anything. So if anyone ever doubts that I'm autistic, they're wrong. Okay, so the next one that I have found is unimaginative play and lack of imagination. This one personally could not be further from the truth. I have always been a very imaginative, like creative based player, child. When I was growing up, my favorite toys, or I say when I was growing up, but to be honest, now as well. My favorite toys were always my model horses, which I had, and I would set them up and I would make little scenes out of them and stuff, and I'm just realizing how autistic that sounds, that I didn't actually play with them. I just made scenes with, oh damn. I definitely played a lot of like pretend imaginary games and stuff. However, even though I definitely had a very broad imagination and I loved to make stories and stuff, it was always very one-sided. So even though I would love imagining and I would love playing games and I would love playing games with my toys, I wasn't very good at letting someone else play the game too. So I wasn't really playing, I was like directing, if that makes sense. I had an imagination, but it was my imagination and no one else was allowed to get involved in it. Okay, so the next one I have found is probably one of the most stereotyped autism traits in the world, and that is no empathy, which I've spoken about this a few times and it makes me really angry. Genuinely, wholeheartedly, fully believe that people on the spectrum have got more empathy than what most neurotypical people can even muster, which is why it's so hard for us to show it, because it doesn't make sense in our heads and there's just a lot happening. So instead of showing all of this emotion, it's easy just to shut off altogether. The stereotype just comes from us not liking to show it. Even with that being said, that is very much not a trait that I have. Anyone that knows me knows that I cry a lot, like, and show emotions a lot. Like if I'm not between like a 5 and a 7 on the emotion scale, I'm crying. I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry like once a day, honestly. If you want to know what I do at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's sob in my bed watching gold buzzer moments from like Britain's Got Talent and stuff. I literally weep over them. Or like the Happier music video from Bastille, cried my eyes out, sobbed my heart out. That palm tree oil commercial that's going around, cried my eyes out, literally sobbed, like snot down my nose and everything. The little girl that I'm training to ride Marley at the moment, she came second in the Extreme Cowboys Nationals a couple of weeks ago, sobbed my heart out, like literally I couldn't even stand. I literally collapsed because I was crying so hard with emotion. As far as unempathy goes, and as far as a lack of being able to showcase empathy, probably the furthest one from the truth of me. Like, I am the most emotional, empathetic person in the world. And that also kind of goes on to the next thing I found, which is an inability to infer the thoughts, feelings, or emotions of others. I admit that sometimes I struggle a little bit. Like, I'll be like, I don't understand what you're feeling, I don't understand what's happening, I don't understand what's going on. But I'm actually really good. I like to think I'm really good, but maybe that's just me being autistic and actually not realizing that I'm really bad at it. Okay, here's one which is kind of a little bit like, adheres strictly to rules and needs structure. So this one, I would say it should be a trait that I have, but is one that I lack. I feel like a need for structure in my life, and if I don't have that structure, then I feel like the world's like collapsing around me. I don't like it. At the same time, I'm really bad at sticking to rules and making these like rules and regulations for myself that I need to get that sort of thing. Part of me is like, I need rules, and the other part of me is like, I'm not going to follow rules. So it's just clumsiness. That's a definite trait I have. It has a fascination for dates and small details. I don't think I have that. Difficulty is seeing the other person's perspective. I understand other people's perspectives on things, but depending on it, I don't care about it. That sounds so bad. Okay, so like if it's something like that I'm really passionate about, that I'm really strongly opinionated about, so like for example, veganism, which that's, oh, I'm gonna get comments on that anyway. That's okay, we're gonna believe it's that's, or like equal rights or something like that, and someone has an opinion that is different to me on something I care very strongly about, I listen to them and I understand their opinion, but I just don't care to have that opinion influence me. However, I do try really hard to definitely listen to people and things that I am not very strongly sure about, or things that I don't have a lot of life experience with, and other people have other opinions about, or other people have other points of view on it, then I definitely do like to listen to that because I want to become more woke, per se. Might appear shy or avoid being in social situations. Not anymore. If you guys see me at a concert or at a gig or something, which so many of you guys have met me at concerts before, and I love that. It makes me so excited when people actually come up and say hi. You guys can vouch, I'm usually the most like bubbly, extroverted, like too over the top person that you would ever meet. So in that case, I love social situations, which is actually very odd, I suppose, for someone on the spectrum. I genuinely love being around people and being in social situations and stuff if it's a social situation that I understand and feel comfortable in. So like at a concert, it's my favorite. Like I would go to a concert every night of the week if I could. I'm obsessed with it. It's my favorite, and my favorite part of the concert is actually the socializing, the social situations of it, which is why I'm always getting the general admission ticket so I can like line up and like be like completely murdered by swarms of people. I love that. Don't know why, but I do. May appear rude to other people. I would hope not. Repetitive behaviors. I don't think I have any repetitive behaviors. I know a lot of people on the spectrum have to do their certain rituals every morning, have to do this, this, and this. I don't think I have anything that I'm like, I have to do this. I have things that I like doing on a daily basis, but it's not going to like completely be the end of the world if I don't. Avoids team sports. Definitely a trait I have. I tried doing soccer for a season, and I hurt someone's nose. Like I think I might have broken it. But I cried and like didn't come back afterwards, so I don't know what the outcome was. So I definitely avoid that. Strange sleep habits. I am currently sitting in front of my fort bed on the floor. So no strange sleeping habits there. Very picky eating. I used to be the pickiest eater ever. Like I would only eat white foods with one ingredient, but now I am the most like unautistic eater you've ever met. My favorite foods are like curries and like dals and like things with lots of ingredients and like lots of colors in them. I still don't eat red food though, so there's that. Get comfortable with eating whatever I want, as long as it doesn't come from an animal or anything red, because red food is just unnatural and weird. Anxiety is common, yep. Having few or no real friends. This is triggering. Okay, I've been at this for like an hour and a half now, and I didn't find as many traits as I expected to find, which I guess confirms that I am definitely autistic. I wanted to do this video because I thought it would be interesting, mainly for myself, to see what autism traits I don't have, especially because I talk so much about autism and because like my whole life is spent advocating for autism. So I don't know if I'm surprised or not to understand that I could barely find anything that I didn't have. I do just want to do another disclaimer just to make sure if you are autistic or you feel like you might be autistic and you are or are not diagnosed, these traits do not make you autistic or not autistic. These are just symptoms, these are just characteristics, these are just stereotypical autism traits that may or may not mean you are or are not autistic. It doesn't actually mean a real diagnosis. Autism is so much deeper than that on so many levels. So there's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I haven't said that in a long time. Anyway, that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video and you want to see more of this sort of stuff, I could maybe do a video about the autism traits that I do have, which I found out today is most of them. But I could probably like go into some depth with some more of that sort of stuff if you guys want. But yes, make sure you guys let me know. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I don't mind. Do whatever makes you feel good. Do whatever makes you feel happy. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.